Hello, what about you? And a wee quick one here, just a wee recap on the ones I've done before. My little obsession. MLA pay. Why? Why? Anyway, they continue to be on full pay whilst doing a part-time job. And there's been a slew of secretaries of state here, you know what I mean, who have been minded, that's the phrase, minded, to cut MLA pay. Remember him? He said he was minded to cut MLA pay. And then he said do you remember him? He was here, wasn't he? With these Tories, you're never sure. I think he was here, but he was minded to cut MLA pay. And Wee Harris, our present overlord, he also is minded to cut MLA pay. But the problem with Heaton Harris is he was also minded to have an election. Remember that? 100% he was going to have an election. 100%. Until Rishi called him back to 10 Downing Street, slapped his arse, sent him back, no election. So wee Heaton Harris, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't trust anything that wee man says now. God love him, because he's had to go back to Rishi and say, "Is that alright, Prime Minister? Can I do this? Am I allowed?" Anyway, here's the question I have. Why do politicians here need the likes of these people to tell them the right thing to do? These are the leaders. These have put themselves up as our betters, our leaders. What's more basic than not stealing from the public purse? Don't be pilfering from the public. As I've always said, if a single mother takes £1, she's not entitled to. She gets slaughtered. But seemingly, our politicians can do whatever they want. Don't start me. I began to think after 40 weeks there a couple of weeks ago, I wrote about it in the Irish News, and that's why I'm doing this, because I know you all don't read the Irish News. You should, but you don't. So I wrote about it in the Irish News, and I came to the conclusion, maybe the problem is they can't do the maths. Maybe because, let's be honest, they're not the brightest in the world. God bless them, like they're not. You can imagine them up there going, take a two, and then you take the do you carry the two over, or do you take the math? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because the maths isn't hard. The maths is very easy. I'm even able to do the maths, and I'm not good at maths, or geography, or biology, or English. Actually, I could have been an MLA. Mug me, what about? But the maths is pretty simple because we have a benchmark, which they knew about. They knew about this. This isn't anything new. Because way back in 2018, during their last extended holiday, then Secretary of State Karen Bradley, she brought an independent person in to have a look at the whole thing, and they agreed that they should have a reduction in their salaries of 27.5%. So that's there. We know that. We know that's there. So all it takes then is a wee bit of maths. Join me. Let's do the sums. We know that our MLAs earn a gross yearly income of 51,500. Not bad if you've never passed an exam. 51,500, which means their gross weekly take-home pay is around 990 quid. Okay? Now, with the 27.5% on, that's reduced to 33,337 a year, or 718 per week. And all you have to do is take the 718 off the 990, and you come up with a sum of £272. It's written down here for me. And then you take that £272 and you multiply that by the 40 weeks they were off a couple of weeks ago. Would you believe you come to a total overpayment of 10,880 quid per MLA? 10 grand per MLA. If you total that up over the 90 MLAs, over them 40 weeks, you're talking of almost £1 million quid. £1 million has gone to them, which could have been spent on our hospitals, our schools, our nursing homes. You know what I mean? People backed up for days in casualty because our health service is on the point of collapse. Schools can't afford pencils and notebooks, can't afford to feed the kids who need a meal. But your MLA is above all that. Oh, no cost of living crisis if you're an MLA. Oh, don't start me. So I noticed over the last few weeks, there's been a concerted effort by MLAs to try to justify their existence. And actually, in my paper, the Irish News, a journalist, one of my fellow journalists, Maria Louise McConville, has done a very interesting series. And she's basically asked MLAs, what do you do of a day? What do you do? Now, and they started off with wee Colin McGrath, SDLP from South Down. Now, Colin starts his day. Look, there's Colin there. He's got his sleeves. He's ready to go. Colin's ready to go. Colin starts his day at half six in the morning. Colin's out there at it, full on at it. And he's at it from 6:30 until 9:30 at night. Colin's at it. Look at that desk, covered in paperwork. No paperwork, but it's a nice picture. It's a nice picture of Colin with his sleeves rolled up. And Colin does important work during his day. Like he says here, that he goes to the local play park where there are problems with the tiles. Ooh, what? Tell you. And then he does the paperwork, which is obviously why there's no paperwork on the desk. And Colin says at the end, Colin actually says it, I don't want to be paid public money and not work a full-time. Well, here's an idea, Colin. I'm going to have a solution for you in a second. Because the second person up was UUP, Robbie Butler from Lagan Valley. Robbie doesn't even bother with his shirt. Robbie's flat out. He's got a t-shirt on, just make sure it doesn't get in the way of all his work. Get a mountain of paperwork to get through. No paperwork, but a nice picture. A nice picture. Right? And Robbie, would you believe, after reading what Colin's at, Robbie too works from 6:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. What a coincidence. Eh? But Robbie starts his day with some quiet time and prayer. Yeah, missed that out, Colin, didn't you, you heathen bastard, you? Good man, Robbie. Like your state. Robbie then goes to the gym for an hour. Flat out. Robbie was standing. Robbie, on this particular day, he had to pick. He had 2 year 13 students join him for. Wait for it. Work experience. Work experience. Oh, I like you, Robbie. I like you, Robbie. Oh, you gotta tell you. Fair play to you, son. Fair play to you. For lunch, he grabs a healthy salad and a tray bake. A wee tray bake. So you've got to have your tray bake during the day. And then he's giving all sorts of messages and working with people. And Robbie's aware that, he says there that, given the amount of messages and office contacts he's received on the day of the rising cost of living crisis, he's feeling the burden which folk are experiencing. No, you're not. Sorry, Robbie, but bollocks. No, Robbie. 51,500, Robbie. Come on, son. You're not feeling anything. So, that's what your MLAs do. And I want to offer them the chance of redemption. Here's my idea. We know they're getting 10 grand so far that they were not and are not entitled to. Donate half of that to charity. And I've got the perfect charity. Cancer Focus NI, brilliant charity. They do the cutting edge research, cancer research at Queen's University. They also provide amazing support for cancer patients and their families during their treatment right across the province. Because if all 90 MLAs gave the 5k, that'd be 400,000 quid. Imagine the good that would do. But you see, if you don't, I'm going to keep reminding you. I'm going to torture you. I'm not giving up. I'm going to make sure as many people as I can get, when you knock on their door looking for their vote, ask you one simple question. What did you get back? What did you give back, you useless, lazy, skiving? Don't start me. It's children could be watching this. Give it back. Stop being sheltering. You know you're at it. And you know what's worse? We know you're at it. And you should know that we know you're at it. And I want people to remind you that we know you're at it. Because you're at it. Oh, you're at it.
That's all, folks.